Okay. Hi everyone and welcome to C++ Quick Bytes. In today's episode, we are starting with a simple but very important concept. It's a variables in C++. Even if you already know the basics, just stick around. We will go a bit deeper and talk about common mistakes beginners make. So, what is a variable in C++? A variable is simply a name that refers to a memory location. So think of your computer memory as a giant storage room, and the variable is just a box with a label on it. So you can put a value inside, change the value later, and use it anywhere in your program. So for example, you can have integer, the name age equal 20, 25. Here, integer is the type, and age is the name or the label. 25 is the value inside that box. Okay, so why do we need variables in C++ or any other in programming in general? Variables make your code dynamic, so you can change the value at any time. Also, it make your code reliable because meaningful names that tell what the data represent, right? Also, they allow the user input. So, for example, we can have variable called score equal 0, and we can ask the user, please enter your score, okay, within the line, and see input score, and later we print your score is score. Okay, so for the data type and for the data types, we have some common types for integer. We have for the variables, we have integer that holds the whole numbers or the integer numbers, and double for decimal numbers, character for a single character, boolean for boolean true or false, and string for a text. So we can assign some values here, some equal 90 here for double sequence. So price, for example, 19.19.19, and the characters grade, for example, equal A, and the boolean is online, for example, equal true, and the string with name which has any. As you see here, we have a set of different variable types, and each one it has its own value. And what we need to make a difference here, it's we need to differentiate between initialization and declaration. Declaration is to declare a value just without giving it any value, just like integer temperature without a value. It's just a declaration. Here we declare the variable. The other approach is to initialize it. It's called temperature equal 36, for example. It's called the initialization. The third approach, or the third, you can see you can try in your code, is to declare it without initial value, and you can give it a value later. You can say temperature equal 36. But it's one of the best practice it's the best practice in any programming language to initialize the value, to assign a value to any declared variable. Why? To avoid undefined behavior in your code, because you don't know what is the value of this variable. Is it 0, or is it a number, a random value from in the memory? No one knows. Okay, and for the value, actually the variable, it's meant to be changed in your code, so you can change it. its value is just like this way. You assign it a new value, and you can try some other values, for example 39, or you can try short approach just to increase it by 1. This way, our program is dynamic, so you are not limited to a fixed or any hard-coded values. For the convention of the names, we are done with the types. So for the names, there are some names that are not allowed in C++. For example, we cannot use any reserved keyword in C++. We cannot define, for example, we cannot declare something integer, float, equal, 8. It's not allowed in C++ because float is a reserved keyword actually. Also, we cannot declare a variable that starts with a number 3, 4, f, for example. It's not gonna work, right? It's a wrong name. Also, but you are free to use letters, numbers, underscore, but the variable does not start with a number or does not use any a reserved keyword in C++. And it has to be descriptive actually. It's one of the best practice in any programming language in general, in programming in general, to have a descriptive name. So, for example, we have, let's try some of the bad examples. X1, no one knows what X1 represent actually, or float, Y2, no one knows. So, using a meaningful name or a descriptive, it improves the readability of the code, either for me as a developer or for anyone else who's reviewing or checking this code later. So we're talking about the the readability of a coding style, for improving the code style and the readability of our code. The last thing regarding a variable, initially the variable was meant to be changed, okay, but at some situation we need to have a constant variable. We need to create a variable, and it will not be changed through the code, and we want to protect it from any accidental mistake or accidental change in our code. So we define it as constant, just constant keyword before the type, constant integer, let's say max buffer size equal 100. And again, it helps to improve the readability of the code, because the other options that you can try is to hard code the buffer size everywhere in your code with 100. So what if you want to change the max buffer size? You go through all the usage of the buffer in your code and it change it from 100 to the new value. It's much better to have just to have a variable just exist in one place, and the change, when it's changed, it reflects everywhere, and it's defined as a constant. So if anywhere in the code by mistake try to change it, it's the compiler will complain about this a change. So let's wrap up. We talked about variables in C++, which is a label. It's a labeled box in the memory, and it holds a value that you can use and change. Every variable has a type, and you can declare, initialize, and update the variables. You use and make sure to use a clear and meaningful names for to improve the readability of the code, and use constant for when you want to the value to stay at the same, to not being changed in, to stay the same throughout the code. And finally, thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to follow the series. In the next episode, we will talk about the difference between integer, float, and double, and when to use each one. So see you in next quick bite video. Thank you. Bye.